beautiful lady, and welcome back to The Subconscious Expert. I am very, very excited for today's podcast episode because I was actually reflecting, and I don't think I've ever gone ham on how hypnotherapy, one, changed my life, and two, really had such significant impact inside my business and the success of my business, and then went on to help hundreds of clients that I have recorded hypnosis for, that I have been in session and done hypnotherapy with. And I think there is like so much stigma and a bit of confusion around hypnotherapy. And I find it really funny because the moment that I'm like out doing my day to day, grabbing a coffee, and I happen to get into conversation with someone, and they ask me, what do I do? And I say, oh, I'm a hypnotherapist and I help women online, grow their business to multi-six figures and beyond. Everyone looks at me very funny. And I think this is more so because we have such a perception, we have such a concept around hypnotherapy. And the first thing that anyone ever says to me is, oh, you're going to like dangle a watch in front of my face or make me cluck like a chicken. And I think because kind of mainstream hypnotherapy, that is what you see, these stage hypnotherapists that are doing silly things to make people do silly things on stage, and people are responding and receptive to it. And that's kind of everyone's perception. And when I first started hypnotherapy, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of my journey as well in this podcast, but I always used to get like, oh, I thought you were going to be like this 70-year-old male with little suede elbow jacket, like suede elbow pit things on my jacket, and I'm going to sit on the chaise longue and you're going to hypnotize me. And I was like, no, I am. At the time, I was like 26. I'm a 26-year-old woman who can literally change your life with hypnotherapy. So I wanted to do a podcast episode that kind of explains the science behind hypnotherapy and how I use hypnotherapy to sign consistent clients in my business right now and have done for many years, and how I really help my clients rewire their subconscious programming, really rewire their neural pathways with using hypnotherapy. So we're going to start at the very beginning because I think sometimes it's quite hard for people to understand. I think some people might be a little bit scared of it. I have a lot of people who are like, I've tried it in the past and it hasn't worked, or I'm a little, I'm nervous, or I'm going to feel out of control. And what I always say with hypnotherapy is we were in hypnotherapy together and we were going through a hypnotherapy session, if I asked you to stand up, you would stand up. If I asked you to jump off a cliff, you would open your eyes and tell me where to go. You are always in control. But with hypnotherapy, what the powerful thing about hypnotherapy is that we can consciously get into your subconscious programming. And we do that through the brainwave states that we go into during hypnotherapy. And what I love more than anything with hypnotherapy is you are literally sitting or lying down with your eyes closed with me in your little ear holes, and I'm changing your life. Like, I am literally bringing you suggestions and rewiring your neural pathways and changing your internal world. And a lot of the time with hypnotherapy, it's very, very subtle. The changes that you feel, the way that you start to behave, the actions that you start doing, that the person that you start to become becomes very, very subtle. Because it's almost not like you have to keep going, right, I am not doing that today. Like, this is not what we're doing. You almost, through repetition and through listening to the hypnotherapy tracks, you almost start, your subconscious starts to program this new reality, this new identity, and you will start behaving and just being like, oh, I've never done that before, or, oh, that thought didn't come up then, or, wow, I didn't react the way I usually do then. And it always takes me back to when I very first started hypnotherapy. And again, I'm going to go through the story in this podcast, but I love this example. And one of my clients, when I was doing a lot of work for weight loss, because that's literally where my business started, I was a hypnotherapist for weight loss. And I did that for nearly a year. I worked with a lot of clients on weight loss for through hypnotherapy. And one of my clients, we were going through like a couple of things that were really stopping her from losing the weight that she wanted, that she desired to lose. But equally, like, what were the actions that were happening that were kind of stopping her from doing that? Because with hypnotherapy, like, I still bring in the very tangible, external, in-person actions. Like, that goes without saying. When you work with me, we do the subconscious work, but we also do the tangible actions too. And she had this thing where every time she would finish dinner and she would take her and her daughter's plate into the kitchen, and 9 times out of 10 her daughter wouldn't finish the full meal, and she would get into the kitchen and she would finish the leftovers on her daughter's plate. And this is one of the things that we spoke about, that we became aware of, that I started to put into the hypnotherapy tracks when we started working together. And this one day she messaged me and she was like, Beck, what the hell? She was like, I have just walked into the kitchen and I literally went to spoon the leftovers of my daughter's dinner into my mouth. I stopped and I said, I don't need this, and I scraped it into the bin. So subtle. I still get goosebumps. If you're watching the video of this, yes, there is videos of these podcasts on YouTube as well. The link is in the show notes. I literally still have goosebumps from this, because that is such a subtle shift. She didn't have to consciously be there being like, I'm not going to eat these leftovers. She just walked into the kitchen, her fork, the natural habit went to pick up off the plate. She got to the mouth, she said, no, I don't need this, scraped it into the bin. And like, her celebration around that, like, I literally remember that moment, because it's those sort of things that hypnotherapy really does. Those subtle actions that right now are sabotaging you in your business, and I'm going to be talking about those, they start to fade away, and this new identity, this new person, this new magic around you starts to happen. God, I love it. And I have experienced hypnotherapy myself. So way before I even qualified as a master hypnotherapist, which was in 2019, I actually had hypnotherapy for weight loss myself. And it probably would have been, I'm going to say, around 2012. And I was really in the performing arts industry. If you've listened to the podcast before, you'll know, the performing arts industry isn't a nice place if you're a size 10 and above, which I was at the time. I was constantly brought into the office, constantly told I was too fat, constantly told that I either need to lose weight or I need to put weight on and play fat roles. So I was doing everything I could to, get down to a size 0, I guess, is what they wanted me to be. And I had hypnotherapy myself, and I just remember the sheer magic and power and how I felt after those sessions. I still have the tracks that he did for me, the hypnotherapist that I worked with, and it still blows my mind how much it changed me. So I hope I'm convincing you here with a bit of hypnotherapy work, but let's have a look into the science behind hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy is almost like hypnosis when you are in hypnosis. It's a very trance-like state. Now, people get a bit nervous about this, but what I want to tell you is you are in trance-like states very, very often. Almost every day, you will be in a trance-like state. For example, when you're listening to music, when you are in deep relaxation, when you are in deep focus, maybe when you're on a walk, sometimes in the shower, we can be in a trance-like state. And this means that our subconscious has kind of taken over. Driving is the best example that I always give. Like, you've ever got to a place and you're like, how the hell did I get there? That is almost a trance-like state, because your subconscious has flicked into action. You're consciously thinking about loads of different things. What you're going to eat for dinner, what song was on, the radio, and you're singing along. And you're not physically thinking about the thing in hand. And The characterization of that trance-like state is this deep relaxation and this like deep focused concentration. And that's why I never want anyone to be scared of hypnotherapy, because a lot of the time we are in that trance-like state. And to be honest, you go through the same brainwave state when you go to sleep as well. So I wanted to let you know, first of all, what kind of happens when we go into hypnotherapy, which is basically brainwave changes. And we shift, as a hypnotherapist, I shift you from one brainwave state to another. So if we have a look at your kind of like everyday brainwave state, we call this beta. So this is very like active thinking, focused, problem solving, high alert. And this is normally when we're kind of in waking consciousness, right? We live in the beta brainwave state. A lot of stress and like probably anxiety and kind of like urgentness happens in beta. And the more we can actually get out of beta, the better a lot of the time. And the next one down from beta, there is another one above beta, which I'll talk about in a minute. The next one down from beta is alpha. If I'm confusing you already, it's okay. This is just the concept. I just wanted to let you know. So we have beta, which is your like everyday awake, alert, problem solving, in the business, doing the strategy, boom, 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 boom. The next one down is alpha. We spend a lot of time in alpha because it's this relaxed alertness. So it's calm, but a wakeful state. And in fact, we kind of want to be there as much as we can during the day because we want that calmness, but also that alertness with us as well. And the alpha brainwave state is the bridge between the conscious thought and the subconscious mind. So we're not yet in the hypnotherapy state, which I'm going to talk about next, but it really is the bridge. And in alpha, we want that kind of relaxed focus state, and this is when really good ideas will come in. This is why you get your best ideas in the shower, because a lot of the time you are in the alpha brainwave state. This is why driving, you're in alpha. Probably doing your makeup, you're in alpha. Reading a book, or like anything that's like a calm state, but you're still having to be alert. And you know, that's literally when people are like, why do I get my best ideas in the shower? Why does this happen? It's because you are in alpha. So we are consciously starting to get into the subconscious. It's really helping to calm the mind, meditation, visualization. This is all in the alpha brainwave state. And then next, after alpha, so we've had beta, then alpha, the next one is theta. Welcome to the hypnotherapy state. So theta brainwave states are linked to very light sleep. And this is what I said, like when you're going into sleep, you literally go through the hypnosis brainwave state. And this is why when I record bespoke hypnosis tracks for my clients, when people download the Millionaire's hypnosis bundle that I have, which is like 7 tracks to really rewire your subconscious mind to 7 figures. When people are listening to those hypnosis tracks, it is really good to listen at night, and a lot of tools and techniques that I give my clients subconsciously to do, I will have them do as they're going to sleep, because they are literally going through that state of relaxation. And it allows us to really have that deep level of relaxation, which allows us to access the subconscious mind. And when we can subconsciously be in the conscious mind, lots of conscious, when we can consciously rewire into the subconscious, this is where we can address those deep seated limiting beliefs, the patterns, the behaviors, the stories. We can change the patterns And you, as the client, accept the suggestions that I give you during hypnotherapy. And a lot of these times, these are suggestions that have literally come from my clients. So when I work with clients one-to-one, when I have created the Millionaire's Hypnosis Bundle, these suggestions that I'm giving you inside the track are literally coming from beliefs that you want to have, actions that you want to take, the person that you want to become, the identity who you want to be. And I can suggest that to you during this track because we are in the subconscious. We're rewiring those neural pathways. And this is where, like, in the hypnotherapy tracks, a lot of the time I get my clients to associate a color to the things that we're changing. And a lot of the times they don't know that I've told them that. And clients, hello, if you're listening, you now know all my secrets. But a lot of the times they will say, oh my God, Beck, like I have seen blue so much this week. And the suggestions that I give you inside the hypnotherapy tracks, and I do this across the board, it really starts to kind of reinforce and really embed the new neural pathways that we're putting in. God, I love it. Can you tell how much I love hypnotherapy? And really what we want to do is we really want to get into the neural pathways, and our brain is neuroplastic. So it means that we can absolutely rewire anything and everything that's gone on within your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is a pure hard drive. It remembers everything. Now, you might not remember it consciously, which is fine, but subconsciously, your subconscious mind is like those little hard drives that you plug into your computer that's got all your things on from way back when, your pictures from 2012, when you used to take loads of pictures and put them all on Facebook. It's got everything on there in your subconscious mind. It holds everything. And your subconscious runs 95% of your day. So I worked out the other day, if you worked for 6 hours a day, 18 minutes of those 6 hours are you actually consciously thinking about something. The rest of those 6 hours, like apart from those 18 minutes, you are in your subconscious. And if your subconscious is feeding you beliefs such as, it's never going to happen for me, I'm never going to be a multi-six-figure business owner, I will never have the success that I desire. If you've got these like, I'm not good enough, which is one of the 5 deep-rooted beliefs that I see across the board, you're going to be playing that action out. And with hypnotherapy, we go into your subconscious, I go into your little hard drive, and I squirrel away at rubbing out those old beliefs and putting new beliefs in. And this is literally where the magic happens. So when you're in hypnotherapy, just to recap, you're in the theta brainwave state. The next one on from that is delta, which is your sleep state, your kind of unconsciousness state. It is the slowest of the brainwaves. So we literally are so close in hypnotherapy to being asleep. I've never had anyone fall asleep whilst I've been hypnotizing them, because obviously we use tools and techniques to keep you in the theta brainwave state. However, you can see how close it is. So you are literally taking yourself through the hypnotherapy state. And this is what I mean. It's not scary. You do it every single day. If you're sleeping, you're going through the hypnotherapy state of the theta brainwave state. So don't be put off by giving it a go at least. So now we know what kind of happens. Let's have a look from how hypnotherapy really helps our subconscious mind. So there's 2 things from a kind of neuroplasticity point of view, which I've talked about before. Hypnosis really helps the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming these new neural connections. And like I said, you have old neural connections that are not serving you. And this is what I ask in the bespoke hypnosis tracks. This is what I went through myself to create the Millionaire's Hypnosis Bundle. If you do want more information on that, the link is in the show notes. that gives you all of the info on the tracks, how to use it, how to get the best out of the Millionaire's Hypnosis bundle. It is absolutely outstanding, if I say so myself. But what you can see is we can go from these old like neural connections, and we can go in and we can effectively change your habits, we can change your beliefs, we can change your emotional reactions. And that's a huge one with my clients. You know, I always talk about responding versus reacting in your business, and being this, you know, being the CEO and being in self, being in your highest self. A lot of the time we do have to respond versus react in our business. We can't constantly be in reaction. And a lot of my clients come to me in this kind of fight or flight state because they're on this emotional roller coaster, and maybe you've hit this high cash month and then you've had your lowest month ever, and you're kind of, I can't keep up, I don't know when my next client's coming in. There's so much emotional irregulation that with hypnotherapy we can start to regulate your emotions and start to train your brain on how to do that too. And that's such a big win when it comes to leadership, when it comes to attracting more money. Because if you're constantly in this fight or flight state, trying to build your business, trying to build a 7-figure business in fight or flight, your subconscious is only going to go, oh my God, this feels so freaking scary. And you won't do it. You will sabotage. So going in hypnotherapy state really starts to just bring in that kind of regulation within your nervous system, but also your emotional responses. And then, like I said, in hypnotherapy, we consciously go into the subconscious, and you are more open to suggestions. So what I find sometimes, if I'm working with a client where we're not in hypnotherapy, or I'm not using NLP, which I'm a master of there too, and that's another technique that I use in the business. When I'm not using NLP techniques or hypnotherapy and we're just kind of having a conversation, sometimes there can be a real resistance from a part or from a belief of changing. Literally had it with a client this morning. We were talking, you know, chatting through, and there was a real resistance that she had around productivity and how she can either have productivity or she can be in the feminine and she can't have both. And when you're in that hypnotic state, or when I'm kind of like talking you through that, which I often do in my coaching calls when we're working together, and I do in the bundle as well, it allows me to kind of break through the analytical mind that goes, no, I don't believe that, or I'm not listening to that, or I don't see how this is going to work, or, you know, this is never going to happen for me, so don't even bother trying. All of these little parts that come up as little protection parts, we go past those. We go past the kind of gatekeeper. I always see him as a little gatekeeper with you shall not pass, we shall not believe you, we do not believe that I can be a millionaire. You know, all of those, the analytical mind. In hypnotherapy, we consciously can be in the subconscious, which means you are more open to suggestions, the suggestions that you're giving me, that I'm giving you, and really helps me guide you to change your negative patterns and adopt the behaviors that you really, really want. So, bit of a whistle-stop tour on hypnotherapy there. And I think, like, for me, more than anything, what I love is when we pair it with that really tangible action. You know, we can pair it with that tangible action. So we have these, you know, we have the suggestions from the hypnotherapy tracks, whether it's the Millionaire's Hypnosis bundle, whether it's your own bespoke hypnosis track, whether it's in my membership, the subconscious membership, there is 100,000 hypnosis tracks in there too. You can have a space where not only are you calming and regulating your nervous system because you're actually freaking stopping and sitting down, but two, I am literally, don't want to say it, doing the work for you. But from there, you then have the action to pair with it. So it means that not only do you show up better to the action, but it feels safer, it feels calmer, you feel like you can do it because of what we're suggesting in the hypnosis track. So yes, I bloody love it. Now, when it comes to the hypnosis that I do with a lot of female entrepreneurs, there are a couple of things that I do see from like a rewiring perspective that I see the most. One of the big ones is money mindset. I think we have such deep ingrained money beliefs, the way we saw our parents behave around money, the way we saw them deal and handle or not handle money. So money is one of the big things that always comes up with my clients. It's one of the tracks in the hypnosis bundle, the Millionaire's hypnosis bundle. And I think sometimes when we look at it, especially if we look at kind of pairing the subconscious mind with this, is our biggest imprints are coming from the ages of 0 to 7, if a push 14. And actually, if you look at some of the patterns and the behaviors and the way you do things, 9 times out of 10, it will go back to that. And this is why I do hypnotherapy, yes, but I also do NLP and the coaching, so I can kind of really understand why the patterns are happening and what that's looking like for you. And really understanding where we need to start within the belief system, within your subconscious, to start the hypnosis track to kind of support that. Because a lot of the time, I have clients who are like, oh, I kind of heard this in the hypnosis track and it felt a little bit better, like my subconscious was more on board. And I'm very, very careful with the language that I use in the hypnotherapy tracks across the board, because we want your subconscious to be on board. It's why I use a lot of the time when we're shifting beliefs with my clients, we use the word I'm learning to, because a lot of the time going from I'm not good enough to I am good enough will be like, absolutely, your subconscious is like, absolutely not, I don't believe you, that's the end. Whereas actually, if we say I'm learning to feel good enough, I'm learning to be XYZ, I'm learning to have or hold or whatever the word you're going to use, it actually ingrains it quicker, and we move through like stepping stones, which is why kind of having the hypnotherapy tracks are so important. Another one that I see is that kind of deep-rooted self-belief. We have been probably through many experiences that we've been told that or felt that maybe we're not good enough, whether that's parents, whether that's at school, whether that's the bullies, whatever happened. But a lot of the time when it comes to business, that deep-rooted self-belief paired with the money work that I do with clients has been the catalyst to their success. And then kind of pairing it with the like magnetic energy online, which you can definitely feel, the consistent needle moving activity, the kind of growing your resilience around your business, connecting to your vision, allowing the capacity in. These are all of like the really big things that I see, hence why I literally made the Millionaire's hypnosis bundle, because all of those tracks really kind of encompass you getting to that next level and having it there. And hypnotherapy works best through repetition. You know, it's not a let me listen to this track once and that's done, Becky's solved all my problems. It's a let me make this an actual habit that I do in my business every single day, because I know it's not only helping how I behave and how I show up in my business, it's also helping like the internal feelings and thoughts and my calmness and state of emotions, which we actually want more of. You know, I see so many female entrepreneurs hustling their fucking asses off for not much return because they think they need to work harder, when actually what we need to do is regulate your nervous system. We need to regulate your emotions so you show up as a high performer, get more done in a shorter time, and believe that you're going to get there too. That is the game. That's the name of the game, guys. That's the name of the game. And hypnotherapy truly allows you to do that. Repetition, repetition, repetition. It's like when you're riding a bike. The more you fall off and get back on, you then ride the bike, and you can now, you know, I usually don't ride a bike, and I probably still would be able to, even if I haven't done it for years, because it's ingrained in my subconscious. And that's what we want to do with these new beliefs, these new neural pathways, these new perspectives and perception that we want you to really show up in your business as. So I hope this has given you a little insight into hypnotherapy. I still swear by it. I use it pretty much every week. I love it. I love giving and gifting the tracks to my clients. I love the hypnosis bundle that I've got. I love the hypnosis that I do in the membership. Like, all of them are so powerful because of the suggestions that we can give to the subconscious mind. And like I told you with that client story earlier, things start to happen and you're like, what? Oh, this is how I'm behaving. Oh, this is how I'm showing up for my business. Oh, this is how I'm selling. Oh, this is how I'm handling my money. Things start to really shift internally, which then in turn shift massively externally. So if you haven't had a little deep dive into hypnotherapy yet, you want to try it, I suggest you start with the Millionaire's Hypnosis bundle. There is 7 tracks inside there. You've got an accountability calendar. You have got journal prompts to do before and after. There is challenges inside that I send you during the time that you've downloaded it. And really, it is the best place to start if you really want to elevate yourself to the next level. Maybe 7 figures feels very far away from you right now, but let's fucking start collapsing time, hey? Because it truly is the kind of 7 track subconscious weapon, I will call it, to catapulting you to the wealthiest, healthiest business owner you have ever been. And these tracks have been specifically and very consciously created by myself due to the hundreds of female entrepreneurs that I've worked with to really help you ingrain these new beliefs, because your subconscious is running the show and your business cannot outperform your subconscious. Like, that's just how it is. So if you want to have more information on that, drop into the show notes. All of it's in there with how the tracks work, what tracks there is, how it guides you. And really, I think if you want a little insight into hypnotherapy, and I'm told all the time of how perfect my voice is for hypnotherapy, and how people constantly feel like I'm in their ear, on their shoulder, talking them through some of the beliefs that come up or challenges that they have in their business. So if you want me with you in your ears a little bit more than you do from the podcast, I would dive in there. Thank you so much for today's episode. I have loved you being here, and I will see you on the next one. Mwah!